Okay, about kidney killer. Let's decode the mystery of glomerulonephritis. So let's clarify some questions that misunderstood you on our big exams. Several questions you've got, not fully understood, misunderstood, I suppose, and confused. So I repeat, you always start with definition, my beloveds. That's why start with take your pens, papers, and let's go. Doesn't matter what question is. You start with definition. So rapidly progressive glomerulonephritis is acute nephritic syndrome accompanied by microscopic glomerular crescent formation with progression to renal failure within weeks to months. Diagnosis, of course, is based on a history, urinalysis, serologic tests, and renal biopsy. Treatment is with corticosteroids, with or without cyclophosphamide, or rituximab. Sometimes plasma exchange. Okay, so about immunocomplex deposition, the usual suspect. So, my beloveds, of course, in every question there is an answer. So, glomerulonephritis is most commonly triggered by immune complex deposition within the glomeruli, the kidney filtering units. So, this stuff, This complex activates the complement cascade, leading to inflammation and damage. What is clinical importance of that, my beloveds? Understanding the mechanism is crucial for diagnosis, for example, identifying specific antibodies in blood or kidney biopsy, and guiding treatment strategies aimed at suppressing the immune system. Immunoglobulin A nephropathy, it's a good example where immunoglobulin A antibody deposit in the glomerulus. Then, wide range of causes beyond the immune system. While immune-mediated, glomerulonephritis is common. It can also result from genetic factors, so-called Alport syndrome, infections. For example, post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis, hepatitis B, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, associated membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis, systemic autoimmune disorders, lupus nephritis, vasculitis, and even certain medications. So what is clinical importance of that? My beloveds, a thorough patient history and investigation are essential to determine the underlying cause, and treatment varies greatly depending on etiology, as always. Then, about presentations, variable presentations from asymptomatic to end-stage renal disease. Glomerulonephritis can present in a spectrum of ways, ranging from asymptomatic hematuria, proteinuria, found on a routine urinalysis, to rapidly progressive glomerulonephritis, RPGN acronym, leading to end-stage renal disease, ESRD acronym, within weeks to months. Clinical importance: early detection, thorough routine screening, especially in at-risk population, can significantly improve outcomes by allowing for prompt treatment. Recognizing RPGN, rapidly progressive glomerulonephritis, and initiating immediate intervention, for example, immunosuppression, plasmapheresis, is critical to prevent irreversible kidney damage. Okay. Yes, nephrotic versus nephritic syndromes. I actually very often misunderstood. Not confused, actually. Two distinct parameters, two distinct patterns. Glomerulonephritis can manifest as either nephrotic syndrome, characterized by heavy proteinuria, hypoalbuminemia, edema, and hyperlipidemia, or nephritic syndrome, characterized by hematuria, hypertension, oliguria, and azotemia. Actually, some forms can present with features of both. What is clinical importance? Differentiating between these syndromes helps narrow down the differential diagnosis and guides initial management. For example, minimal change disease typically presents with nephrotic syndrome, while post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis typically presents with nephritic syndrome. Then, focal versus diffuse, segmental versus global biopsy matters. Kidney biopsy is often essential for diagnosing glomerulonephritis. Pathologists describe the lesions based on their distribution, focal versus diffuse, and the extent of glomerular involvement, segmental versus global. What is clinical importance? These descriptive terms, along with immunofluorescence and electron microscopy findings, provide crucial information for identifying the specific type of glomerulonephritis and guiding treatment. Then, about immunoglobulin A nephropathy, the most common worldwide. So, immunoglobulin nephropathy, Berger's disease, is the most common form of glomerulonephritis worldwide. It's characterized by deposition of immunoglobulin A in the mesangium of the glomeruli. Clinical importance. While many patients have a benign course, some progress to end-stage renal disease. ESRD acronym. Management involves controlling blood pressure with using ACE inhibitors, Zartan, and in some cases immunosuppression. Then, post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis, a childhood concern. This form, glomerulonephritis, typically occurs 1-3 weeks after a streptococcal infection. For example, strep throat or impetigo. It's more common, of course, in children. Clinical importance. While most children recover fully, some may develop chronic kidney disease. Prevention through prompt treatment of streptococcal infection is crucial. Then about lupus. Lupus nephritis, my beloved, is a complication of glomerulonephritis as a complication of lupus erythematosus. So systemic disorder, of course. Systemic lupus erythematosus can affect the kidneys, causing lupus nephritis. These are different classes of lupus nephritis, each with different clinical presentation and prognosis. Clinical importance, my beloveds. Early diagnosis and treatment of lupus nephritis are crucial to prevent end-stage renal disease. Management involves immunosuppression and control lupus activities. Actually, we do not have normal management of autoimmune disorders. It's always immunosuppressions. Anyway, so next question that confuses you is MPGN. So membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis, MPGN. It's a complex landscape, of course. So MPGN is a pattern of glomerular injury that can result from various underlying causes, including, of course, infections, autoimmune diseases triggered by the infections, why not, and monoclonal gammopathies. Clinical importance, so identifying, my beloveds, the underlying cause of MPGN, membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis, is essential for guiding treatment. And finally, complement dysregulation. It's a key player in some forms. Dysregulation of the alternative complement pathways has been implicated in some forms of glomerulonephritis, such as C3 glomerulopathy. C3 glomerulopathy. Clinical importance. This understanding has led to development of complement inhibiting therapies for these conditions. Now that's all your confused question. There are some else, but these are principles that always blocked you. I don't know why. Shock you even on a big board exams. No. Question of experience. Anyway, thanks for your attention. God bless you. Don't forget to follow and subscribe my Dr. Y YouTube channel, as well as my private Dr. Y Telegram channel. So how to find my private Dr. Y channel? It's a Dr. WHY. Like question. Dr. Y is me. WHY without question mark. So you tap in searching mode of Telegram, Dr. Y. You click start and you choose your plan. God bless you. So, and you will find questions like this, MCQ tests, each question in each domain, I don't know what, internal medicine, gastroenterology, all internal medicine, all. Obstetrics, gynecology, surgery, and so on. So questions, answers, explanations, questions, answers, explanations. Then clinical cases, students' cheat sheets, why not? And oral exams questions, etc., 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 etc. So see you on my Dr. Y private Telegram channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. Bye-bye.